And so that's the issue. So racism is a competitive relationship between people. So when we get into these PowerPoint presentations, these are points you got to remember to understand what I'm going to be showing you on the screen. Race, you're competing. You are competing with other people to own and control resources. So don't ever come to me telling me you want civil rights or integration. I don't care. I don't deal those things. You got to go to some civil rights organization and get some of that stuff. Now, that's the first thing. The second thing you have to understand is the whole concept of minorities. Minorities. What is a minority? Nobody even knows what a minority is. Nobody knows what it is. What is a minority? Now, in the Federalist Papers back in 1789, they said a minority is a group, a smaller group that has no power and wealth. But it also says in the Federalist Paper that if you're a minority and the majority doesn't take care of you, then you got the rights to have a revolt. Because you don't have to abide by anything that the majority does if the majority doesn't take care of you. But and so in 1790, in the first immigration laws, guess what they did? They made black folk a planned minority by putting a zero quota on black folk coming into the country. So black folk are the only planned permanent minority in our society. You're the only minority. If you want to do it in political terms, in population, blacks are the only planned minority. In the first immigration laws, whites got an open door to come in anytime they want it. And don't get confused about this stuff about Hispanics being... No, Hispanics are basically whites speaking Spanish. And they are a culture group and a language group. The first enslavers of blacks on the earth were the Arabs. The second were the Portuguese. The third were the Spaniards. The fourth were the English. Then you got the Swedes. Then you got the Germans. And then you got the Asians. And the last ones that enslaved black folk were the American Indians. So everybody has enslaved black folk. But you are the only planned minority. And when they start asking, you ask them, say, what is a minority? They got all these minority programs. You tell them, take me out of the minority program. Because I don't know what it is. Edison said, don't get caught in those very broad, ambiguous terms. Minority, all the people, everybody. Stay out of that. Make them call and make them address you specifically. Say, don't tell me what you're going to do for minorities. What are you going to do for black people? That's it. I don't know what you're going to do for the minorities, or poor folk, or people of color. What are you going to do for black folk? Period. That's all I want to know. Don't give me that other mumbo jumbo. So I go down to Texas and look at the affirmative action plan, and guess what they got in it? Affirmative action plan. I look to see where the contracts for services and goods went. White women got 78% of all the contracts and money. Hispanics got 28% and blacks got 9/10 of 1. Why? Because again, because you are being excluded, but they use broad terms to cover it up without leaving fingerprints on who they're screwing over, and you don't know it.